sometimes demons would just torment me. I had told you during my mom's death, I had seen her grave and the whole process. So this time, the demons showed me my grave, where I would be buried and what would happen. So I was convinced that I was dying, because I was even given the date, that this is when you will die, this is your grave, this is the date you will die. During May, I was told it's May 2020.
Praise the name of the Lord and good evening. What a nice time to have the Gorgeous Woman Show. I'm always excited when it's about a woman that has been through pain and conquered, or against all odds, they've chosen to be courageous and above all to share their story with us. And I'm having a gorgeous lady. She looks young and beautiful, and she's willing to open up her heart concerning her journey through mental illness. She's had mental illness, gone to a place of being maniac and all that, but God has kept her and encourage her. She's here to just encourage somebody and to let you know that no matter what you go through, God is still able to deliver you. So her name is Peris Ngendo. How are you?
I am fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am born again.
Amen.
And I thank God for bringing me this far.
Great. So what has made you come out and just talk to us in Gorgeous Woman Show?
Okay, I am willing to inspire someone because I have seen God help me.
Yes.
I was at a place where I thought I would die.
Yes.
I thought I had no future.
Yes.
But I have seen God pulling me up.
Amen.
And therefore I'm willing to encourage somebody who is out there.
Yes.
Telling them it's not over.
Amen. So where do you come from, Peris?
I come from Kirinyaga County. Yeah, and right now I'm a student at Kenyatta University, fourth year.
Oh, fourth year? Oh, nice. So you're graduating anytime this year? Ah, nice. What are you studying?
I'm studying Bachelor of Education Arts, Teacher of Mathematics and Business.
No, I'm not joking with you again. if that is what you're teaching, mathematics, that is awesome. That was your passion, or did you just find yourself in that course?
Okay, I didn't know my passion. When I was in high school and primary school, I was just studying. I hear some people saying religiously, you just do what you are told to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be. So at some point I wanted to be an engineer or a doctor, those big courses.
Oh yes.
So after,
those serious professions.
Yeah, there you hear people saying I want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
But then something came through my life where I didn't want to become a doctor anymore. So after high school, I got a job to teach in a primary school. Ah. That's where I got the passion to become a teacher.
Ah, and you really love to be a teacher.
Yeah,
that's
I loved
wonderful.
Those kids. I loved the experience.
Yes.
So I went forward and did that course.
Okay, and you're graduating.
Yeah.
We look forward to your graduation.
Yeah.
And so your parents, where did you grow up with your parents, and where did you grow up in Kirinyaga or Nairobi?
I grew up in Kirinyaga at a village called Kiandieri. Yeah, that's where I grew up. Yeah. As the firstborn. We are now 4 kids.
4 kids?
Yeah.
And your parents are still back in Kirinyaga?
Yeah. So my mom passed away.
Oh.
It connects to what I'm going to speak about. She passed away when I was in Form 1. Yeah, but my dad is there. I have another loving mom. Yeah. Yeah, they're there.
Yeah, your dad remarried.
Yeah.
Wow, our viewers, that's just a brief about Peris Ngendo's story. She's a confident young woman, and as you can hear, she wants to be a mentor and a teacher. So you can't just touch that there. Share with your friends and family, and if you have young people, let them know that the other young people that are making a mark out of their calamity and whatever should have been a bad situation. See you after the break. So welcome back, our viewer. Again, my guest is Peris Ngendo, a fourth-year student at KU who is going to be a teacher and loves to be a teacher. What a wonderful thing. So Peris, what happened to mom?
Okay, my mom was a very close friend of mine because from age 5, I had spiritual battles. I started seeing ghosts in my bedroom. Demons talking to me, people I couldn't see. So my mom took that burden because she was born again, and she began praying for me. So we went through that journey. It never ended.
So tell me more. At the age of 5, you were seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
Were you seeing them while you were awake or when you were asleep?
Even awake. Most of the times when I was going to bed, I really feared because I knew I will experience something during the night. When I close my eyes, I'll have a nightmare. If I open my eyes, I'll see those things. So I kept calling at my mom, come and pray for me. Yes, that was my experience.
And how was your dad responding to that?
Okay, my dad loved me, being the first daughter, but he wasn't that concerned like my mom concerning those things. Yeah, so my mom was the one that was taking that burden from class 1, class 2. It went on and on until I was 12 years old, and it became worse. I was having series of deliverances, but during that period, I got to know God a lot because now I had to fight. I remember in class 8, when I was 8 years old, that's when I got born again. My mom just told me, right now you have to get saved and learn to fight these battles yourself. So I remember her leading me to Christ. When I was 8 years old, I got saved. And during that period, I connected with God. I am a singer, so that's when I composed my first song when I was 7.
How nice. Could you sing for us that song?
It's somehow kiddish.
Don't worry. At 7, we would not expect much more.
Yeah, though it's Kikuyu.
No problem.
I can sing a little bit.
Yeah.
Sing, Dakwera we Jehovah Jireh. Dakwera we Jehovah Jireh. Dakwera we Jehovah Jireh. Dakwera we Jehovah Jireh.
That's a beautiful song. At the age of 7, you knew about God who is Jehovah Jireh.
I didn't know the meaning of Jehovah Jireh, but I just found, okay, I loved singing, so I would sing the songs I had.
Did you record that song? It's beautiful.
No, I haven't. I recently recorded my first song last week, actually.
Last week?
Yeah.
Awesome. Is it out?
Yeah, it is out.
Okay, could you sing for us?
It's a Kikuyu still.
No problem. We will try to translate.
It came from what I went through last year because that was the worst year I have ever been in. So it sang. Onaige kiomwakine niedike shinwo. Onamaine maige digero danio. Dike unyeine kia oria mwene hinya. Onaige dhuka dhuko no dero gama.
Awesome, and I love your voice. Your voice is amazing.
Thank you.
Wow, no wonder the enemy has made you go through all that. So we are still back to the age of 8 when you got born again. Your mom led you to Christ. And in my head I'm asking, did they ever think of taking you to hospital? Did they suspect there was a case of mental illness or something?
No, they didn't. From a young age, I loved staying alone. Even in school, I would never make noise because I would just stay by myself. But I was a bright girl. So they just left me. My mom just kept, actually she didn't tell even her friends. She used to fight alone. She kept praying for me. There was a time I remember going to a church, and that church had some issues with cultism. So I was just a young kid. I've heard them singing and I ran there. After going back home, she really beat me. Because she was telling me, you see what you are going through, then you go and mix yourself up out there.
Okay.
Yeah, so they didn't take me anywhere.
Okay.
She kept praying for me. We went to pastors. But through that time, God spoke to me. I was 10 years old. That's when God spoke to me. I remember very well it was Jesus. Because I felt some kind of love that I remember till now. It flowed through my body. I felt Jesus is here, and I loved him so much at that moment.
Yeah.
And I remember him telling me, "You are my servant."
Wow.
And I told, it was so much in me until I went and told my mom, "I am God's servant." I had to talk it out. So it was like on a Friday that day. And then on Sunday, a new preacher came to our church. And then during the altar call, he called people. And then I saw my friend going forward. So I went without knowing what.
That is so common with kids.
Yeah, so I followed her. So, and he pulled me from behind. You know, I'm there little, standing behind the others. Then he started prophesying over my life. And he even called my mom. He said, "Who is the parent to this kid?" And he said, she's a servant of God. The same thing I had heard. And now he said a lot of things. But that was one thing. And then from there, I knew God. From 11, I began fasting. 12, but now I still had these battles, demons speaking to me, tormenting me. And you
were still be afraid of the dark.
Yeah, but this time I had learned to pray. This time I could read the Bible, I could rebuke, and my mom was so spiritual, and I thank God for that, because that time she really taught me the word, and she built me spiritually. Because I remember she could tell me that if I cram one chapter, she will give me 20 shillings.
Ah, nice.
So, 20 shillings is a lot of money to a kid.
Yes.
So I would stay with the Bible the whole day to make sure at least I cram a chapter in the Bible. So that's how I got to know God. This time I was a bit strong. Yeah.
Did your condition improve after prayer and the word?
While I was 12 years, I heard a voice. And this voice told me, "Your mom will die." This time she was just okay. "Your mom will die. And then after she dies, this issue will go away." So I didn't understand that time. I didn't know who was spoken to me. They are just voices. They showed me where she will be buried, but I was so afraid. I couldn't tell her. I would tell her anything, but that one, I just kept it to myself. Then in 2013, those issues ended. I stopped having those issues. Around February or January, she became sick. And now I was being transferred from one hospital to the other. And in May, now that was the thing, from one hospital to the other, until one time she was in Kenyatta Hospital, National Hospital. In November, she passed away. But now those issues had completely gone. But now one thing that have affected me the most, my mom was so strong spiritually. She kept telling me, even the period where she was sick, she kept telling me, "I can't die, I will live to serve the Lord." She was a singer, so she had a lot of dreams. She kept telling me that I will never die with any of my songs unrecorded. She had just recorded 9 songs. That was one album. So she hadn't taken it anywhere. But now she's now sick. There is no hope, and I became...
Did you understand did you get to know where she was sick?
Yeah, it was cancer.
Okay.
So that time, I really got bitter with God after she died, because all the things she kept telling me, she had a lot of faith, she had a lot of dreams, and now even after praying, because we had really prayed, now she is gone. So I was really affected, though I didn't tell anyone. I just kept it to myself. And around May, that the same year, that time she was
Which
very
year was
sick.
this?
2013.
2013.
Yeah, she was very sick that time, May, because she passed away in November. I got this psychological disorder. Now, I think it was triggered by that trauma. I don't know. So it's called maladaptive daydreaming. I came to learn about it recently.
Yeah.
So that disorder started affecting my life silently. It is a disorder that makes one keep daydreaming. They can never be sober at any moment. So that disorder kept affecting me. This time I couldn't even tell her. I didn't tell anybody.
So what were you doing?
Okay, so I remember when it began, I started running. I would lock myself in a room and then run like a mad person all over. Now my mind is far away. So
you are not conscious of what is happening?
I can feel what I'm doing, but I can't stop.
Okay.
My mind is just far away.
Yeah.
So I would put on loud music and then I would start doing those things, running. I would go hit the wall, and when somebody comes, I will just pretend I'm okay. So it became an issue. It went on and on. And by the time I could now start, okay, it went on and on. This time
and
I was
this time
in high
your mom
school.
is sick and in the house?
Yeah, very
Okay.
sick. No, this time she was in hospital. I remember during her burial, I didn't cry. My mind went. I was not there. I was not present. So I'm just walking around, but my mind went. So after she was buried, and now everybody was asking me during that period, Connie, what's up with you? We can't see you crying, we can't see you mourning. But now I couldn't tell them that I'm already away. So I went on and on.
You didn't share with anyone even at this time?
No, I didn't.
Because you felt they would not understand what you're saying?
I wasn't even knowing what I was going through. I didn't know it would become a problem later. So I just kept quiet and they thought I was okay. Because whatever I was doing it alone. Nobody saw me during that period. So I remember during December, after she passed away, we went for a camp, and I remember praying to God, please remove this disorder away from me. It was affecting me so much. Because right now I couldn't control myself. Pengine there were chores left at home, I can't do them. I'll keep doing what I normally do. Put on loud music.
Yeah, put on loud music.
Then start running and doing weird things. So that went on and on.
Did your dad notice?
Yeah, he noticed. One time he met me doing that and he just laughed. It looked funny to him. And then he left, he didn't talk about it, he just went. Yeah, so it went on and on affecting me. High school, then after high school, still on and on, even that time when I was a teacher.
So what would you do in high school?
In high school, I went to a boarding school in Form 2. Before then, I was in a day school. After going to a boarding school, I would at least be much better when I go to school because there are many people. There is no time when I would be alone. But anytime I went for the holiday, this habit would come back. So I would do what I used to do. I never did any assignment. So I would cry. During the day, I would go back to school.
Were you sleeping?
Yeah, I would sleep if someone came. But if nobody comes, I'll do it the whole night. So because my dad is present, I would sleep. But if in any case he delays, my brother had gotten used to me. I have a younger brother. I had a younger brother then. So he would just come, look at me and then leave the house and lock me. Alikuwa tu ananifungia, anasema endelea, and then he goes.
Because were you dancing or what were you doing?
Dancing and hitting the wall. So he would just come, and sometimes he would laugh at me and come and do what I normally do. He laughs. And anagongesha, and then he goes away. At one time he told me, you started this in Form 2. So even me, when I get to Form 2, I'll start acting mad. Then Yeah, he didn't understand. He's younger than me. That time he was, I think, in class 5.
Even when I get to Form 2, I'll start acting mad.
Yeah, so
Wow.
he just laughs and goes away. My dad never used to see me a lot because he's at job. When he comes back, he just pretend. And
You
then,
sober up.
Yeah.
Wow. We'll take a break, our viewer, and hear the rest of the story. It's so wonderful to have a young lady that is confident enough to talk about issues that many people shy away from. See you after the break. So welcome back. My guest is Peris Ngendo, a journey through mental illness, so many challenges she's gone through, but she's standing strong. Okay, so your brother, your comical brother, would now aspire to become mad at the age of Form 2.
Yeah.
So did you complete your studies, and was your academics affected because of that?
In high school, my academics were not really affected because after going back to school, it's a boarding school. So after going back to school, I would sober up because I have to. Though it would affect me because I remember running. I would come out of the class when my mind goes away and run to the dormitories. There were some distance away. Then come back. I was not going to the dormitory to do anything. Just running and coming back, running and coming back. So sometimes I would go to the deputy principal. She was close to me. She was like a mother to me, and I thank her wherever she is. So I would go to her and tell her I have this and this issue. She would just encourage me. But it didn't affect my studies a lot.
And did the students know you had such a condition?
Yeah, some. There was one who met me in class when I was alone, laughing loudly. And then she just laughed and said, you Peris, you have a problem. But I don't remember many knowing about me, but they knew I was a silent girl, not wanting to meet with many people. I didn't want to socialize. And I was a captain, a CU, official. So I just lived my life. It didn't affect my studies a lot. But
you also say that when you were a teacher, it used to happen.
Yeah, even after Form 4, it used to happen.
Okay.
Now I went to, God helped me and I passed. I went to university now. I joined these friends who helped me to pray. We kept on praying for that issue, though it never came to an end. I remember now it became worse because right now I am not in a place where I can be controlled. It's not like high school. You know, in high school, the teacher will make sure that you are in class.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't have anyone to ensure that I do this and this.
Yeah.
So my mind will keep doing what it used to. So right now, so that time it started affecting me so bad. And then the embarrassment. Because this now is a weird behavior and you are a grown-up, people expect you to behave better. So I used to behave that way even in the hostels.
How weird?
Okay, I remember I could, anytime, that time I was living in the hostels. We were 4 roommates. Anytime they left, I would lock the door and start screaming, running around the house. Maybe some neighbors are hearing me out. So I would start, naenda ninajikongesha kwa ukuta, ninarudi najikongesha kwa viti na, yeah, so that's what I used to do.
And were you having any wounds?
Yeah, there was a time nilianguka until my face ikakuwa dark. As in, sijui ni blood iliclot huko ndani because I hit the wall and I fell. So that time I had to go to the hospital. And they told me to take the person I was fighting with.
What did you tell them?
You just talk them. There was no way, I just hit the wall. And they treated me at last. Yeah, so,
and you did not disclose that you have this issue?
No, I didn't tell them. I had this circle of friends whom we used to pray with. They knew. So one of them gave me specs, and then my hairstyle nikaiweka somehow so that no one would see the wound so much. Yeah, though it used to affect me, it started affecting my academics now, because sometimes I would wake up very early to prepare for class, then this issue just comes up. Then I just start doing those weird things. By the
Was
time,
there a particular thought that was disturbing you, maybe your mom?
no, this time I was just like fantasizing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't remembering, though sometimes I would just sit and remember those things and cry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were actually depressed at some time, at some point?
Yeah. So I kept doing that and that, and during that time, God has been giving me favor so many places, because I remember that time in first year I was selected as the leader of praise and worship team, first year, first semester. So I had these friends who used to support me. I would tell them I'm going through this and this. So now in second year, those friends were for years when I was in first year. So in second year, and that time I was in KU Kitui campus. In second year, they all left, and now I was brought to the main campus.
In Ruiru?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was brought to the main campus, and this time now I have no one to share with this issue. I'm in a new environment, and it kept on and on disturbing me. I remember in 2019, that's when the real depression started hitting me, because right now I had this issue. It's disturbing me. I have no one to share with it. It has started affecting my academics. The parents think I'm performing well, so I can't attend classes. I'm just lost. So
you just stay in the hostel?
Yeah, I just stay in the hostel.
Just doing that, whatever you are doing?
Doing that like for many hours, like for 5 hours I'll do that. Then I'll just sober up for some moment, pray. Then it comes back. And maybe I was praying for it. It never goes.
And you couldn't control it?
I couldn't control it.
You never thought of going to seek for medical help or anything?
No, I never sought for medical help. I was just seeking for spiritual help here and there and for advice. I would go to the computer labs and go to the websites, search for something that will encourage me. They never did. Sometimes I would feel at least I'm encouraged, but then when I go home, it comes back.
So overall, how are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling?
I was so low.
So low?
Yeah, I remember in 2019 around January, there was a time I just felt, whenever I went to bed, I would pray to God that I never woke up, because I'm waking up to the same issue and I have no one to help me. So I started feeling a sense of helplessness. And in the middle of 2019, now I started having hallucinations. Now depression was hitting me. I started having hallucinations and fighting with people, with neighbors, because I remember when I was at home, I would hear voices of people talking against me. And those are the neighbors, and maybe it's not real.
Yeah.
So I would hear them, they are talking about me. This time I'm in the house, I would just feel that they are talking about me. So when I go out, I'll go and maybe sing a song that is related to what they are doing.
And then?
Yeah, so I made a lot of enemies. Now they are wondering, what is wrong with this girl?
Yeah.
This time I felt that it's real. These people are talking about me. So in 2019, while it's ending, I had those dramas. In January, last year now, 2020, I remember now opening up. It came to this point where I had now to open up, because whenever I was in the house, people, okay, our house, it's close to a road where people pass through. So I started feeling that people have started hearing what I do, and they are now mocking me.
So you now had issues of shame?
Yeah. Nilikuwa natoka nje, and then I'm like, I can't go out to the streets. How will people see me? So I would just, whenever I'm in the house, I would feel people are mocking me while they are walking on the road. So I started hating people. And I remember one time I went to church and stood there Our church is just local, so I knew that people know me even in church. So I went to the pulpit and told them I have an issue and pray for me, because I knew they knew about me. That's what I thought. So I was trying to make them understand me. You know, it's not a common issue, so I thought, I don't know what they think about me. So I just stood there and told them, just pray for me. And then the pastor called me, he prayed with me. Though this time, I was already sick. Depression had hit me. You know, this time when I started having these hallucinations, I'm not okay.
Were you showering? Were you eating?
So this time I was not badly off, but now when it came around May last year, I remember being taken to the hospital where I was not speaking in Kiswahili or Kikuyu. I was just speaking in English. As in, I had forgotten those languages. I was mad. I remember my dad taking me to a certain woman. It was on a Sunday. I just discovered that I'm speaking to myself. And I told my dad, take me to the hospital, I'm becoming mad. I went and told him that, and he took me to the hospital. And then after
So there would be times when you're conscious of what is happening, but then the other times you'd lose consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they took me to the hospital, and then coming back, he just told the woman, please don't allow her to do anything in church. Because I was a worship leader, I would lead the service, I would even preach at times. So she...
And when you do that, you'd be okay?
Yeah, I would be okay. But when I go home, I'll just go away. So he told her, don't allow her doing anything in church because she's mad. This time I was so bad. I would go to the house and see spiders on the wall, which are not there. I would see spiders and start screaming. I even ran away. There was a time I said I won't stay in that house. Sometimes demons would just torment me. I had told you during my mom's death, I had seen her grave and the whole process. So this time, the demons showed me my grave where I would be buried and what would happen. So I was convinced that I was dying because I was even given the date. That this is when you will die, this is your grave, this is the date you will die. During May, I was told it's May 2020. And now I remember the whole of May. Every day I had this fear of death because now I had seen it happen. Anytime I had faith, the devil would remind me of my mom. And he would tell me, remember she had the same faith, but she died. So it's not going to work for you. So actually there was a day I woke up and cried like a baby, loudly. And I told my dad I want to leave this place because it would come so real before my face. I'm dying. Yeah. And
how was your dad in that whole ordeal?
He almost became sick also because he never understood what was happening to me. They were now taking me to pastors, deliverance, and now a certain woman, and I'll shout her name, Mama Hilda. That woman helped me, and many others. Mama Amos, they really helped me because they even took me to their house and they did deliverance on me. They started praying with me, and this time I started, God started helping me. Though still I had this issue of maladaptive daydreaming. So whenever I'm not depressed, I'm daydreaming. And whenever I stop daydreaming, I get depressed again. So that was my life for almost the whole of last year. Running and going to hospitals. A time came when I was taken to a counselor. Series of deliverances. Sometimes they seemed as if they were not working because they would pray for me and then I would become worse. I had lost hope of living again because I felt this is my end. The demons were tormenting me seriously. I remember I would take a pill to sleep because sometimes I would go to sleep and I would shake the whole night. I can't sleep, I'm just shaking. Many thoughts are going through my mind. This time
mostly negative.
Very negative thoughts. and I'm hearing people mocking me. This time it became serious. I felt that everybody was against me. I hated the neighbors. Now I would go just to my friends and tell them. I even involved my pastor in those cases. I told him that there are people who are mocking me, and I felt that it was real.
Wow.
So I went through many things during that time. Bathing was a problem.
Yes.
Eating was a problem. I had lost appetite. I never felt like doing anything. My face had changed. There was a time I went to our reverend. He's called Reverend Bai. He has really helped me. And he told me, you are not the same girl I knew, because my face and changed totally. I was sick, but God has helped me through.
Amen. Wow. Our viewer, it's almost unimaginable to think that we are talking about several months ago. And here she is seated, sharing about what God has done. Let's listen to the rest of the story after the break. So welcome back, our viewers. We hear the last segment of Peris Ngendo's story. To hear you talk about what you're talking about is just a testament that God is real. Mm-hmm. So when did your healing come, and how? Just tell us more. How have you gotten here, where you are?
Mm-hmm. So I came to a place where I started settling issues, because last year that's when I came to realize that even my mother's issue was affecting me.
Oh yeah.
So I came to this place where I asked God, why did you do that? I had never understood that. So God started speaking to me that I gave her the best, because I was wondering, after having all these dreams and having all this faith, how could she go? Now God started talking to me that I gave her the best. I remember one night when I was solo, I never used to sleep, and I had gotten used to that. My dad had tried all means possible to help me out, but none was working. So there was.
Were you given any medication in a hospital? Did you see any psychiatrist?
Yeah, I saw a psychiatrist.
What was their diagnosis?
When I was going to see that psychiatrist, I had really been prayed for. And now they were trying the final option. And when they took me there, the psychiatrist told me that I have dealt with many cases, but this one of yours seems weird. I don't know how to treat you. So she tried, because she's actually a woman of God and she's also a counselor. She tried and she gave me some advice here and there, and I thank God for her because she did her best. So I went back home, and I remember one night, I never slept the whole night. I was just being tormented and all that. And in the morning, around 5, during the night I would wake up to watch TV because I can't sleep and I'm just being tormented. So I would get up.
What were you seeing? Huh? What was coming? What were you seeing?
I was so bitter at God.
Okay.
I was so bitter at God.
So all this time you were complaining and murmuring against God?
Yeah, I was wondering, I have really prayed. What have I not done? I have been your child and you let me suffer this much. This time it's becoming worse and you are not doing anything about it. So I was so bitter at God. Then the devil would remind me about my mother and it would become bad. So during this time I was so bitter, and I remember this night when I didn't sleep, and in the morning around 5 I was watching TV. I would go and listen to gospel songs. So I started laughing. I was praying and I started laughing. And then I felt some kind of victory has come upon me. And like the Holy Spirit was confirming this is a point of victory. And from that day, God started changing my thinking.
What song were you listening to?
There were many gospel songs, I can't remember.
They were just running back to back.
Yeah, but there was this song that God used to speak to me a lot, and I have never forgotten about it. Mm-hmm. It is a song that is commonly sung by our choir in church. Mm-hmm. And I remember one night I just heard it singing, and it really changed my thinking. It's like, because I'll sing a little bit.
No problem.
Says, Dariareka, hoto, dariareka, dariareka, jesona dakareka.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And there is a stanza that says that I have seen death with my own eyes, but he has never allowed me to get defeated.
Wow.
So that song sang through my mind. It was a night of torment, but now just God brought that song within me. And I just felt he has never allowed. I started remembering the battles I had been through from when I was young, but he had never allowed me to be defeated. That's why I had come that far. So I encouraged myself that Jesus is faithful. He will never allow that I get defeated. So God kept talking to me from that day. He kept bringing words of encouragement. This time I started rising up. So not fully because I was affected still. My mind went to square one. There was a time I was so wise. I remember in high school, girls would come to me for advice. But this time my mind had gone so low. Whenever I was in a conversation, my thoughts were not organized. I would just speak. Sometimes I would speak things that I'm not even supposed to speak about. So that was me.
So at what point did you now know you're healed?
It was, from December last year, November, December. I have been okay. I was able to come back to school and I'm fine even while alone. And even this issue of maladaptive daydreaming, I came to realize there were people with it in November last year. I searched for it and I found out how people deal with it. So God has helped me in all ways, Even after those 7 years of having it, this time he has given me the answer. So I am healed.
So how do you deal with it? There could be somebody who's suffering from it and they don't know.
Okay.
So how are you dealing with it?
So after knowing what it is and after knowing what caused it, so God has helped me because in the past, and that issue has caused me pain. Because there are enemies, there are people who just want to see you suffering. So pengine in the plot, people just start mocking you. Somebody start behaving like how you do. And I would really get bitter. Chungu. Like it's not my will to do this. Then somebody comes and tries to make me feel bad that I do that. So God has started helping me know that it's just something so small.
So forgiveness was critical for you to be restored.
And then Mungu alinisaidia kuona that there is a better side of me.
Yes.
Hii mbaya, it's just small. So I started focusing on my blessings. Probably I have this small issue of maladaptive daydreaming, but I can sing. I am blessed, I am strong academically. So hata kama iko, I press it down in my thoughts. And I believe that there is better and there is a better future. And then also believing that nothing is impossible when it comes to God. So I keep encouraging myself that one day it will come to an end because God is faithful no matter how long it has stayed there, and it has been ending. Actually this time round I'm not much affected. Imeisha because...
What was the cause?
I think it was that trauma during that time. It triggered it.
Okay.
So,
and what are your coping mechanisms right now? Like when it comes, what do you do?
Okay, my coping mechanisms, I think they began from my mind.
Okay.
So whenever I find nina realize imeanza kukuja, I'll just stop it. I'll try as much as I can. Or even go out, listen to a song, change what I am doing. And God has helped me all through.
So let me understand it. It comes as a negative thought or it comes as a wondering, or how do you know it's coming?
Okay, whenever I'm alone or whenever I get excited about anything, it will just come. I'll just feel some kind of excitement. It's coming, then it explodes. I start screaming. I can't see it now. I start walking around.
Okay.
But right now, it's highly pressed down because even in my thoughts I changed my thinking.
Wow.
And I nikaanza kuielewa kama kitu ndogo, and I decided it will not control my life.
Amen.
Hata nikisikia mtu anaiongelea, I'm like, that is a small thing.
Yes.
There is a better part of me.
Amen.
And I will build on that.
Glory to God. So what are your aspirations? You are a good singer, definitely. So what, apart from teaching, do you want to further your gift in music?
My deepest desire is to serve God in whichever way.
Yes.
So I love singing, and last week God opened that door.
Yeah.
I have always wanted to record my songs,
Yeah.
though I never had that way. I never knew what to do about it.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of songs even now.
Yes.
But God opened the door that I recorded one of them, and I'm willing to record more and more songs and serve God in all ways I can. Yeah.
Do you have a Facebook channel, a YouTube channel where people can reach out to you?
Right now I have a Facebook channel.
Okay.
It's called Peris Karimi, just Peris Karimi.
Peris Karimi.
Yeah.
Ah, great. Wow, what a joy to talk to you. And it's been a journey, but you've handled it gracefully. Looking at you, nobody would know you fought such big ghosts and demonic forces, but look at what God has done.
Yeah.
So our viewer, we're just so excited that Peris is a testimony. She's not ashamed of her nakedness, her situation. And though she's in the journey of healing, she still believes that God has done it for her. So keep her in prayer as we also pray for those around you that sometimes they look like they have weird behavior, but you do not know what they are dealing with. You could be that voice of comfort, but not a critic or a mocker. I pray that you have a mock-free week, and may God bless you.